Hey, what's up, guys? I'm going to do a quick little meta review for ranked. I just want to let you guys know what is powerful, what isn't, and what you should be playing in order to be grinding ranked. I'm going to start with dual lane hunters, and then I'm going to move all the way over to solo lane. To start with the hunters, right now, hunters are in a weird spot. Some people are still in the camp of crit, and other people are in the camp of going as much pen and kin size and attack speed as possible. But the most powerful ones seem to be Charybdis, Cernunnos. Time's still pretty decent, although I don't know if he's the best. But Charybdis and Cernunnos and Medusa seem to be the most powerful, as well as Izanami. Gods with a bit of pressure, or gods who are super safe. So those are kind of your 5 that you're going to want to keep looking at. The build kind of revolves around the build I prefer to go. At least the build that a lot of people have been going is the standard. Unfortunately, it's still the standard Crusher Aussie build that people have been going. And then some people have been doing like Executioner, Silver Branch, and Kin Size, stuff like that. But yeah, what you're looking at for hunters. For supports, I would go to the Guardian tab, but Serket and Fenrir feel disgusting in ranked in support. Fenrir and Serket exert a lot of pressure, can move around the map very, very quickly, and do quite a bit of damage. You're definitely looking to pick these two up if you're going to be playing support and ranked and are trying to grind. Otherwise, though, Atlas is pretty strong. His ultimate is really good. And yeah, otherwise, you can really look towards whoever you want. Support isn't entirely that picky. Capri's still really strong. Atlas is still really strong. Geb is still really strong. Ganesha has been rising up. Moja's still good, but not as good as she is in competitive. She's okay in rank. She's not as good as she is in competitive, though. But yeah, look towards Fenrir, Serket, and then Atlas. Actually, one interesting note. Bacchus seems to be a really good pick into Atlas, just because Bacchus has very easy ways to avoid Atlas's CC. And he can interrupt Atlas's 3 with 2 of his abilities. Also, Bacchus just exerts a lot of pressure right now. The mid lane? Mid lane's weird. Because I feel in some games, certain mages are doing nothing and other ones are doing literally everything. Thoth is a powerhouse right now. You're building double flat pen in that you're going, let's just say Sands or Conduit. You can go either or. And then you're typically grabbing Divine Ruin into Spear of Desolation pretty much every game, regardless of if they have healing or not. Going into that, and then you're looking either towards more power. You can go into a Soul Reaver. You can go into a Rod, Soul Gem. You can go into a lot of stuff. Some people are going Celestial Legion Helm, though I don't know if it's the best. You do lose a bit of damage, but it is a lot of power. But Thoth is definitely a powerhouse right now. The Morgan is always going to be a powerhouse in ranked. With the double flat pen, she's doing a lot of damage early. And also the Morgan's just always good in ranked, because people don't really keep track of her that well. Morgan Le Fay is also doing very, very well. She has 2 really strong get off me buttons, and she just does so much damage right now with the double flat pen build. Early on, she's hitting like a truck. And she's becoming very difficult to dive because of it. Gods I would stay away from. Honestly, stay away from Merlin and Poseidon. Merlin seems really good, but in the long run, the double flat pen is the build you can function with on him, but he still feels really slow. And a lot of other mages will just outpace you, like the 3 I mentioned before. But you can still definitely play Merlin. Poseidon, I honestly think, is not a good pick right now. If you're getting dove by a tank, what they will do is literally they will just buy this upgraded Aegis, force you to take the exploding damage, and you're most of the time, if you're cracking them, the damage dealt of this effect is capped at 30% of your maximum health. You're taking 30%, and then they just kill you. I would steer away from Poseidon. He's super fun, but stay away from him. Agni is also looking very, very good right now. The double flat pin build really, really benefits him. He's able to do a ton of damage early, and with the short CDs, he's able to just kind of go and work with it. Yeah. So junglers, Cleo is still a menace in ranked. She does an absurd amount of damage, closes off a lot of options, and straight up just, you can't get away from her 98% of the time. Bastet is pretty good, but she does have her problems in the, a little bit earlier on, she's kind of a little bit weaker, but once she gets her damage online, she really just kind of wrecks. She just runs house. Amazon's is still really good. Although I would run him in solo lane over jungle. Just because he's more powerful there. Fenrir still does really good. Serket does really good. Raven's doing pretty good. Something I'd keep an eye on is Nemesis. Nemesis has been feeling very, very powerful. With the Jotun upgrade, this one, Frosty, she's actually doing very, very well right now, so I'd keep an eye on her. Otherwise, I think your like top junglers are still Erlang Shen and Gilgamesh. Erlang Shen has so much CC and so much control that he just affects the game a lot better than a lot of other junglers can. He sets up very easily. He can initiate fights by himself, which is kind of critical in ranked, especially if you're trying to carry from the jungle. Gilgamesh does the same thing, and you could argue that he might do it better. He also builds tank items better than Erlang Shen does. He's incredibly powerful right now, so definitely keep your eye on those two, but also don't be afraid to steer close to the assassins. Because Cleo's still powerful. A lot of them are still very powerful. Kali can still get away and run games. Loki actually feels really, really good right now. Because you start out with Bomba's Dagger, and you go into Jotuns. And then you buy your Jotuns, and you go straight into Hydras. You have 30% CDR already. 10% pen. 10 flat pen. And you have a ton of power. You have 85 power. And you just kind of go to town. Loki swings right now in the jungle. Damage. But yeah, the jungle's kind of a lot of variety. Yeah, Loki, Kleena, Erlang Shen, Gilgamesh. Serket and Fenrir still do really well. Kali still can do very well. Bastet, Camazotz, they're all pretty powerful. Now for Soul Lane, something we haven't had in a while is Death's Toll characters are actually doing very, very well. One interesting note is Erlang Shen is kind of tearing it up. You see streamers like Haddix, or pro players / streamers like Haddix running this. Granted, Haddix is better than 99% of the player base. But he runs games with this shit. And it's not too hard to emulate because Erlang Shen's pressure and damage is still very high in the early game, and with Death's Toll, he's got pretty decent sustain and can fight into other warriors. Bellona's not bad, though I do think she might be the worst of the Death's Toll warriors. Just because Bellona's kit, honestly, is completely dated. And by dated, I mean this ability right here is just so outdated. Anyway. Amaterasu is also very, very strong. You can kind of run the build that's being run with them right now is something along the lines of these are kind of like your main core items. Some people, like on Amaterasu, some people go Frostbound, but other people have been going Toxic Blade instead because it gives a lot of good stats. But you buy these items, and then I would go into a physical defense item. I typically like to go physical defense, and then get the Shoguns, and then you kind of just go from your building there. If you need crit resistance, you go Spectral. If you need anti-attack speed or anti-attack, you go Nemean or you go Witchblade. Or you can even end up going Toxic Blade / Frostbound. But if you are going to go Frostbound, I would say get it where the breastplate is, just because you can exert a lot of pressure, and it's kind of just cheesing your opponent completely. But yeah, the best ones for this Death's Toll stuff is Erlang Shen, Amaterasu, Bellona, and Osiris. They use it the best. Granted, some other characters can use it, like you can run it on Nike, but Nike's not very good right now. And there's one build that's been kind of taking off, or one character. Wukong right now is super strong. You go Bluestone. You typically go a defensive item, or you can just go Runeforged. I've been going Runeforged and then straight into Soul Eater. You do a fuck ton of damage, and you're very difficult to kill with this. Because Wukong's so slippery, in late game, you slam squishies. You slam them. Wukong's very high damage right now, kind of helps him quite a lot. And he's kind of the one exclusion to the Death's Toll warrior rule where they feel super, super oppressive and super sustainy. And yeah, one more thing I would watch out for is Kabrakan. Kabrakan's items are incredibly good right now. Celestial Legion Helm, Jade Emperor's Crown, Breastplate is really good. Vampiric Shroud feels really good on him. But Kabrakan's items are very, very strong right now, and you can squeeze in a flat pen item. You can run him in jungle, support, and solo. In jungle, you could straight up build him like you would a mid laner, building the 2 flat pen items, and then you can go in your defensive options, and you're hitting like a truck. Kabrakan could potentially be really big in the meta coming up, and I think we might see him in the SPL play-ins. I don't know, but I think we might. Yeah. There's a bit of a rundown for ranked. As of right now, what's good, what's not. Thanks, guys. Peace.